making me. I'm with you, my love. Well, planets, yodi, hey, rocket, I'm with you, my love. With you, everything is well, your love, they make my heart to do yodi. Nobody can love you the way I do. I'm with you, my love. With you, everything is well, your love, they make my heart to do yodi. Nobody can love you the way I do. I'm with you, my love. Same thing, way they make me feel like say you go be my wife. Now the same thing whipping they make my friend talk say I dey waste my time. Now because I dey respect you, girl, spending for you every night and day. I dey pray for you, because of you I dey fly like butterfly, my love. Now this thing make people they say I don't lose my sex, my pain, but nobody can stop me from loving you. I'm with you, my love. With you everything is well, your love, they make my heart to do yodi. Nobody can love you the way I do. I'm with you, my love. With you everything is well, your love, they make my heart to do yodi. Nobody can love you the way I do. I'm with you, my love. You see the way all the things they flow. So I'm surprised to see how they love you so. Girl, I suspect say them no. Say now you be the person where they make me flow. Ooh, I tell them say you are the blessing, and that's why you are so interesting. Nobody is understanding the way you are, my beautiful girl. Now all these make people they say I don't lose my face, my pain, but they can't stop me from loving you. I'm with you, my love. Do everything is well, your love, they make my heart to do yodi. Nobody can love you the way I do. I'm with you, my love. With you everything is well, your love, they make my heart to do yodi. Nobody can love you the way I do. I'm with you, my love. Your love, they affect my brain. Until they make me go insane. It go make sense if you come my place. If you know hear them, I go talk them again. Your love, they affect my brain. Oh my love, they go insane. Just leave them the way he be, the way he is. Oh my love, all this make your love, they say I don't lose my sense, my brain, but they can't stop me from loving you. I'm with you, my love. Well, your love, they make my heart to do yodi. Nobody can love you the way I do. I'm with you, my love. I do everything is well, your love, they make my heart to do yodi. Nobody can love you the way I do. I'm with you, my love.
Yeah, I'm with you, my love. This is Voice Africa Radio again, coming your way, saying good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're watching from. It's nice knowing that you're always out there, eager to join us. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the love. I can see the love coming through now. Thank you so very much. Once again, this is Voice Africa Radio, and my name is Justified. I have a guest with me today in the studio, and we're going to be looking at a topic together. Believe me, honestly, I was very reluctant discussing this topic, but we have no choice than to discuss the topic. With me to discuss this rather controversial and difficult to discuss topic on the show with me today is my friend, my brother, all the way from Nigeria, Niger Delta area. One of these days he's going to come around to discuss issues bordering on Niger Delta. But today, what we are looking at together is domestic violence. And the name of the show is The More You Look. The More You Look. Welcome to this show, The More You Look. We're looking at domestic violence. With me today on the show is Legbosi Iwedo, or you can call him Lex for short. Let's listen to some more music and then we'll get right into it.
I go make you famous, even if they made us. Oyinbo go hate us, Tanzania to Lagos, make you Lagos, if they made us. Oyinbo go hate us. You're my number one, my sweetie, number one, my baby, you're my number one, my number one, my sweetie, number one, my baby, you're my number one. Tatu kidonda chako kwangu maradhi, matusonone kampo kwangu simanzi. chako kwangu maradhi. Yani sononeka kwangu simanzi. Kwa mahaba ulonipa nimenogewa, vurugu patashika.
The name of the show is The More You Look. The more you look, what is the conclusion of that popular saying? The more you look, the less you see. But on the show, this show is a new show and it's going to come up very regularly. On this show, we're going to be looking at various happenings in the society, various topic of discussion, just looking deep into those issues, digging deep actually, and looking beyond the surface, providing answers where there are answers, providing insights where necessary, just basically looking beyond the surface and digging deep into issues, into topics, and looking away from what is the common. The common is what everybody wants to see, what everybody's saying. But if you dig deep or you dig deeper, what do you find? What do you see? And that's what we do on The More You Look. We don't say the more you look, the less you see on this show. We say the more you look, the more you see. So let's get our tools ready. Let's get our searching and digging tools ready, because we're going to be doing some digging and some looking through. And before we start, I just want to acknowledge very quickly those who have joined us on this show. Before we go on, I can see Temi Ogunyoju, you have joined us on the show. Welcome. Regina Obalano, it's nice having you on the show. Oyenika Igoladeji, my lovely sister, she says, hey, Voice of Freak Radio, happy weekend. Happy weekend to you as well. How is your weekend going? Ayinka Rosemary Nuga, thank you so very much for joining. Oh, yeah, Princess Lolo, Mochamin, Lexi Ayo Dunaike, thanks for the thumb up. And thanks for the love, of course. We're looking at domestic violence on the show today. I know it's a rather controversial topic to discuss. Sometimes there will not be a right or wrong when you discuss such topic as this. Everybody, each person just airing their views, looking at the issue from whatever perspective they deem fit, or just expressing what their understanding is, basically. So I would like you, every one of us who are on the show, those of us in the studio and those who are watching at home and those who are listening on the website of Voice of Freak Radio, I want each and every one of us to, as much as possible, contribute ideas, contribute our views. Listen, nobody's going to whack you on the head. It does not matter what your view is. It does not matter what your opinion is. Just make some contribution and let us know what you think about this issue of domestic violence. Regina Obalano, happy new month to you and everyone. Happy new month, Regina. Thanks for reminding me. It's a new month. It's the month of September. And today is the second day in that month. Well, we owe the Almighty God all the thanks, all the appreciation for having brought us this far in the year. Thinking back, looking at a legacy. Let me just ask legacy this one. Looking at it and thinking back, it's very difficult, very hard to believe that we've gone so far in the year already, that we're in the 9th month. yeah. We for me, this year started just like yesterday. And surprisingly, this is the
like 2 minutes ago. And now it's like
absolutely.
the greatest surprise so far.
Oh, fantastic. Legacy says
We started 2 minutes ago.
it's like we started this year 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, and it's like moving forward again.
And it's like moving forward. And
So the time moves real fast.
time waits for no one. Time
Nobody.
waits for no one. And that's why on the show today, we are going to kickstart right away. But while we'll do that, I'm going to encourage you to kindly share the video and invite those on your timeline to join in to watch. Apart from sharing the video, I know it's one thing to share the video, but let's just go one step forward. Let's go an extra mile. Let's go an extra mile by deliberately inviting people to come watch, to come join us. So I'm just gonna wait for us to do that. I'm just gonna give us maybe another 2 minutes, and while we share the video and invite people to join in, let's enjoy this music. It says "Woju" by Kiss Daniel.
That's so. Kiss Daniel. G-O-Y. Yeah. No be you a carry gun. But now you a go carry go. Sisi a carry go.
What I would like you to do as we listen to Kiss Daniel is to share the video and invite people to come join us. We want to have a rich discussion on this topic today, domestic violence.
Baby sweet, yeah. Baby nice, yeah. Baby tutti body quite tight. Show me more taxi, malero boya running. Oti mo kode wapa, o wa fe ma kuka seri. What you up? Baby koya what you up? Koya what you up? Baby koya what you up? No be you I want to buy.
If you have already shared the video, I wanted to just give a thumb up or show some love if you have shared the video. While you do that, I'm going to read this little contribution from Regina Balano. She says, any form of domestic violence is totally unacceptable. Only people wearing the shoes can express their feelings. Absolutely. I cannot agree with you less, Regina. Lexi Ayo Olufunke, she says, the deeper you see. Yes, the more you look, the deeper you see. You know, people usually will say the more you look, the less you see. But if you look very well, the deeper you see. Right, let's share. Let's share. Let me just acknowledge very quickly again those who have just joined in. Solomon Olaleye is a shepherd of the Celestial Church of Christ in Milton Keynes. Thank you, shepherd, for joining us. Martins Lillian just joined in as well. That's Mama Lily. You know Mama Lily. Please, on Monday, join Mama Lily at 5 p.m. on Voice of Freak Radio. Life Matters with Lillian. Bumi Bolaji, it's nice having you on the show as well. Oyenike Igaladeji, zero tolerance to domestic violence. I do agree with you totally. Let's listen to this music a bit more. Stop Kiss Daniel there in the meantime and get straight into the subject of discussion today. But before we do that, I'm going to give my guest on the show, you're going to be seeing his face more regularly on Voice of Freak Radio. He's probably going to start his own show soon, but today he's a guest on the show. I'm just going to give him some couple of minutes to introduce himself and tell us a little bit about himself. So, Legacy.
Hello.
Do you want to tell the viewers and the listeners a little more about yourself?
Yeah, sure. My name is Legacy Miedo, and I live in You
live in the UK, basically, yeah.
Okay, I live in the UK.
Okay.
Everybody, my friends, they all know that, and yeah, I've been a very good friend of yours, and I'm looking forward to make this program a success, and hope to be inspiring too.
So, what do you think about the topic of discussion today, domestic violence? What do you think?
Wow, that's a very strong one, and it's a very sensitive one, which I might see it a different way, and you see it a different way, but it's just the way we handle it. That's the most important thing that really concerns
Well,
everyone.
you know, let's look at it from this perspective. It doesn't matter actually what perspective anybody is looking at it from. The question is, domestic violence, is it acceptable or not?
It's not acceptable. But sometimes, okay, let's take it from the man's side. In terms of the man, he sees it as, we as men, we see women disrespecting us or talking to us back. We do not really accept it. And a lot of men don't do that, but there are better ways to handle it. Just ignore the lady, walk away. When she's a bit calm, you come back to her, talk to her. Look, this is what you did. I don't like it. Try not to be so aggressive or abusive towards me. It tends to soften her heart, and she knows. Yeah, you care about him.
Right.
Yeah.
So who has the likelihood to be more violent?
That's a tricky one.
Is it the woman or the man?
The woman could be violent. The man can be violent, but statistics have shown that the violence mostly comes from the man's side. I know most men would agree to that, but it's true. The man is more likely to be violent than the lady. But when it comes to talking and so on, yeah, you give it to the ladies. You cannot challenge them with that.
Okay. Legacy just said that men are more likely to be more violent in relationships. I don't know if you do agree with that, and I'm not sure if I totally agree with that myself. But what do you think? Right, Regina Obalano says both men and women are experiencing domestic violence, but what? Why did you stop that comment there? But what? Legacy thinks men potentially are more violent, but I do not think so. Well, in saying I do not think so, I think it would be right for me to express my own view. I do not think men are potentially more violent, but I think men are more than likely to go out of control than women. That's my own thinking. That's my own thought.
Okay, if you...
But going out of control does not necessarily mean that, they will then become violent. I mean, for instance, men probably can easily lose their cool, lose their, they are probably more easily prone to anger.
Anger, yeah.
Right? But getting angry does not necessarily translate into violence, does it?
Okay. If I may ask you, how do you define violence and anger? They both go together, don't they?
Well, I mean, you can be angry and not be violent.
Well, if you're angry, there's a tendency for you to be violent.
Yeah, there is that very fine line. There is that tendency there for you to be violent in the moment of anger, yes. But having said that, it is possible for you to be angry and not be violent, isn't it?
Well, that's true. That's true. But the thing is, violence comes after anger. Most likely. Let's put it that way.
So, what are the factors that lead to violence? What are the things that normally will lead to violence? What are the things that trigger violence?
In certain situations where the person gets so
remember
angry.
we're looking at violence in a home setting, domestic violence.
Exactly.
So what are the factors that usually trigger it?
Let's put it this way. Most times it's always from the female side, let's put it that way. She's always talking back to her husband or insulting him. Most men don't just get up and insult their wives. They tend to tell you where you've gone wrong with anger, I believe so. And in response, the lady tries to tell him off, insult him, and in most cases where it looks like the lady is the one doing most of the work at home or providing for the home, she tends to insult the man very well, and most men wouldn't take that. And there's a limit to what he can take, and start lashing out or maybe throwing punches, slaps, and so on. And fight starts from there, and you know what happens after that.
So there is a limit to human endurance.
Yeah, exactly.
Oyenike Igioladeji, very good point. She says one of the factors that lead to domestic violence is lack of self-control.
I agree with her. Lack of self-control.
So who is more likely to lose control in a relationship, the man or the woman?
Well, I'll say the both of them could do the same. I won't just leave it to one side. The man could lose control, the woman could lose control. It depends on how they take this. Looking
at the natural make of both man and woman, who has more capacity to absorb? Because losing control is about lacking that ability to absorb. You get to that point where you think, no, I'm not going to take this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So who has the natural ability to absorb more and more and more, before they get to that boiling point? Is it the man or the woman?
In most cases, the woman tends to absorb a lot, because she tends to consider, look, I don't want my family to break up, or people laughing at me, or my husband and so on, my children, or I don't want my children to see what's really going on. And she tends to absorb more. Most men do too. Yeah, they tend to not want to lose their wife, or people laughing at them, okay, this is what you've done. So, like I say, it comes both ways. I really wouldn't want to give it to any side at all.
Right, okay. Oyenike Igioladeji, thank you so very much, my sister. She just gave us another point, actually. She said one of the factors, again, could be family history. Family history. Is this something that maybe something that can genetically be passed down to generations? In other words, if the father was violent to the mother,
yes,
or was exhibiting violence tendencies towards the mother, the son is likely to
pick it up
and do same for his wife.
I wouldn't agree to that, because some fathers are kind of calm and quiet, but the children turn out to be violent or aggressive towards other people. So where did they pick it from?
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, I do not completely agree with that viewpoint that family history can trigger or can lead to somebody becoming violent or abusive in a relationship. I think we all have different temperaments. So the fact that the father lacks temperament does not mean the son will lack temperament as well.
Exactly.
I mean, I've seen instances where children from abusive homes turn out to be less abusive.
I'm very caring.
Yeah, I'm very caring as well. Because, you hear things like, oh, I saw my father abusing my mother, or being violent towards my mother, and I've learned from there how best to treat a woman. So that has taught me, the downside of domestic violence. I'm never going to be violent towards any woman. I mean, I've heard such comments from men, especially those who are from abusive homes.
Exactly. And again, too, some women are also violent, can be really, really violent. A man has endured with a woman, put up with her bad behaviors and so on, but she tends to because he'll take whatever I'll do, I'll hit him, I'll do this to him, and most men just say, okay, I'll just wave it off and let it be. She's my wife.
Okay. All right. I'm coming to that in a minute.
I know you're coming to.
I'll be coming to that in a minute. Right. Okay. Oyenike Igioladeji, she seemed to be the only one. Okay. Yeah. There are other people too making contributions. She says more of environmental factor. Okay, environmental factor. Can you be more? Can you expatiate a little bit more on that? give us a bit more explanation on environmental factor. My sister Oyenike Oladeji. Ayoyinka Rosemary Nuga says, when a woman is constantly getting emotionally abused by a man and she is not getting help from any source, she could get aggressive and violent due to frustration and depression. What do you think?
Yeah, it happens. It happens, and most men too experience that. When a man doesn't get what he wants, and coupled with pressure from work and outside there, from friends, he turns out the same way.
What Ayoyinka is saying is, when a woman
I understand
continually receive
beatings,
bashing and beating, or probably verbal abuse or emotional abuse, and she's not able to get help, there is no help inside, there is a tendency for such woman to become violent. That's what she's saying.
Yeah, I believe that. That's true.
Yeah,
I believe it.
I think to a very high degree, I do believe that as well. But I don't think that is peculiar to women alone. Anyone at all who is in a relationship and they are constantly and repeatedly receiving bashing, abuses in a relationship, and help is not in sight, the likelihood is that, after a while, they will turn back at their abuser and say, you know what, I'm no longer going to take this, and then
they give it back to you.
Yes, violence will be the language then. All right?
Exactly.
I'm going to encourage all of us, every one of us, without an exception, who are on the show right now with me, to kindly share this video. Otherwise, there will be, there probably will be no reason for us to continue on this very, 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 very important and life-changing topic. If the wider audience, the wider public are not able to access this, kindly share this video. Kindly share it. One person has shared so far. Oyenike Ige Oladeji, kindly share the video. Martins Lillian, Mama Lily, kindly share the video. Lexia Ayo, kindly share the video. Regina, kindly share the video. I'm throwing out that challenge to all of us. Let's share the video. Now, let's continue. Regina Obalano says, you can be angry without being violent with each other. Violence is violence, no other name, place. And that was the point I made earlier. That, I don't think it's out of place to be angry. Even the Holy Book, the Bible says, be angry and sin not. So, which has already given us a leeway, saying we can be angry. But at what point do we now have to curtail our anger and prevent it from escalating into violence? I think it's at the point of self-control. I think it is because we sometimes do lack self-control that we, descend into that pitfall of violence, of exhibiting violence and, using the language of violence to communicate what we are feeling. Because more than often, whether you like it or not, to be honest, almost all of the time when there is violence, the violent person is trying to communicate something.
Something to you, yeah. I agree.
But the best way he could communicate at that time is violence. Whereas there are other means he could have used. But the means of communication he could find or he could think of in his head at that time was violence. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's where self-control comes in. What do you think?
Yeah, you see, self-control is a very important factor when it comes to this violence. If you're able to control yourself, it helps a lot. But the thing is, you see, some people find it very difficult to find help or getting help from other people, and because they can't get help, they tend to lash out or say, look, okay, on this particular day, I'm not taking it anymore. I'll have to give it to this person or let them know how I feel, and it turns out really ugly. But you see, communication, if we do not communicate, that's where the problem comes in. And most abusers or those who have been abused don't get that kind of help or communication. They do not communicate with their partner.
Right.
And most of their partners are kind of bossy, controlling. And that's another problem. if you tend to control your man or your woman and don't listen to them, yeah, at one point they won't take it anymore and give it back to you, and that's not a good thing. Yeah,
that's a valid point. Nobody likes to be controlled or pushed around. So if there is a situation where someone is being over controlling or too controlling, it can result into violence. That's what you're saying.
Exactly.
And I think you're right in a way. Akibota Temidayo, welcome on the show. Olukemi Johnson, Aladejare, welcome on the show. Oyenike Ige Oladeji just expatiated on the point she made earlier on environmental factor, and she said most of the time we tend to learn stuffs from our environment. Our environment could be your neighborhood, could be the immediate people around you that are mentoring you, and your environment could be a geographical location. Say you moved away from Africa where things are done, in a certain way. In a certain way, much differently, and then you come to Europe where things are again done in a much different way. That we can pick up things from our environment. How true is that?
Well, it's true, and again too, if you pick that, most men when they come from home, let's say from Nigeria, I'm from Nigeria. When they come from Nigeria into Western world, the ladies also come into the Western world. They tend to like drop the culture and say, okay, this is how it's going to be like. Why I brought that up is on the women's side or the ladies' side, they tend to like control the men. Look, we are now in Europe. I know it's a funny one though. We're now in Europe. This is how it's going to be like. Well, I wouldn't agree to that. I think you both discuss it. Say, look, let's try to adjust. Let's see how we can work things out. Just give me a listening ear sometimes, and things will work out. It helps that much. But most men wouldn't want to listen, and sometimes most women too just don't want to listen to their man. Which is, we tend to have a problem when it comes to that. Both sides want to like control the home, and that's where the problem comes up.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I think you're right. Ayinka Rosemary, she's just commented, also keeping malice longer than necessary,
that's
rather than resolve issues and move on, can build up tension and anger and eventually lead to violence. I think that is 100% correct.
I agree with her.
Because when you pile up issues on top of one another, you pile up issues, basically there will come a time where there is no room anymore for the pile.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't pile, everywhere is full. In your mind, your head is full. You're just about busting.
You're thinking of a lot of evil things to do.
Yeah, you're just about you're like, I just want to let out these feelings. I want to venge. When you bottle up too much, or when you keep quiet, you keep sweeping things under the carpet. Issues that has developed that should be resolved quickly, and they are not resolved, and then from that very small matter, very small issue, more complications will come in, and then it will become, that was what you did last month. You did the same thing last week. I kept quiet. You did it 2 days ago. I didn't say anything. You did it yesterday. Now I just have to say something. I just have to give it back to you. But meanwhile, if the person had said something last month, it could have been resolved. There would not have been any need for that build-up. What do you think?
Well, yeah. You see, keeping things to yourself is a very, very dangerous thing, because you think of a lot of evil things to do just to make your point that day when you want to lash out. And it turns out ugly when you finally, do something. And that is where the violence comes in.
Absolutely.
You'll be surprised. You end up, maybe you just want to hit him one little thing.
Yeah.
And it turns out that, look, he turns out dead.
Right.
And that's a very dangerous thing to do.
Absolutely correct. Correct. Just very quickly, let me acknowledge a few more people who have joined us. Olajide Oduole, my lovely brother, my lovely brother. I owe you more than one. Thank you for joining. Morenike Adelosoye Obeze, thank you for joining. Olubukola Oyewole, I'm sure you know who that person is. Olubukola Oyewole.
I think I should know him.
Okay. Olubukola Oyewole, thank you for joining, my sister. God bless you. Right. Another point have just been made by Let me scroll up. Oyenike Ige Oladeji, she says one of the factors is financial problems. Can financial issues, financial problems degenerate or give rise to violence in a relationship?
Violence.
I think
It has.
I
It
think
has.
it can.
It
because
has. Not it can. It has.
it has in the past.
Yeah.
Okay, are you speaking from experience?
Experience what I've seen and
Right.
heard and so on. Like
Yeah,
that,
because I think when there is so much financial tension, and you've tried all you could to resolve the tension, you find all sort of means to, to resolve it, and there is still that tension there. There is just that much you can do
Exactly.
before you give an outburst. So I do agree with that point that financial tension can bring about violence in a relationship. Akimbote Temidayo, all the way from Nigeria. Akimbote Temidayo, all the way from Nigeria. He says, Paul says, Pastor Dayo. Paul says in the book of Philippians that we should forget the past and let's move on, so the journey of life can be smoother than our expectations, keeping malice, skill, spiritual attention, and moral. Very true. Very, 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 very true.
I agree with
Thank you so very much, Pastor Dayo, for that contribution. Another factor that lead to domestic violence, according to Lexi Ayo Olufunke, is unforgiveness.
Yeah. Unforgiveness. If you don't forgive, oh my God, you just want to hurt. If you don't forgive, you're planning a revenge, I believe.
Okay, so
Yeah, and that revenge is always.
so
very
once you
dangerous.
are unable to forgive, it means that you have the intention to carry out a revenge,
Exactly.
to carry out a reprisal.
Most likely.
Right. So let me ask you, how many times, I know there is an answer in the Bible for this, but how many times or how often do people offend and you keep forgiving them?
Just forgive them as much as you can.
As much as you can.
Yeah.
So as much as you can means there probably may be a time when you are unable to forgive anymore.
No, really. You just have to keep forgiving. But at least there's a point in time where you could just tell them, look, you see, this is what you've done. I don't like it. The best thing to do is just avoid the person. When you see the person, avoid them. It tends to like calm things down.
Right.
It works.
My lovely brother, lovely brother, I look like him. Yeah, because we both look very good.
Really?
He's a very handsome brother of mine. Olajide Oduwole. He says, where is that? It's gone up now. I'll bring it back. Olajide Oduwole. Where is that? It's coming. I think it's something about trust. Yeah, he says lack of trust and lack of trust also contribute to domestic violence.
Yes.
How do you see that lack of trust? How do that contribute to violence in a relationship?
If you don't trust your woman handling money, if you don't trust your woman
Okay, so if you don't trust each other in the area of finance, okay, you'll be
Your family.
suspicious of each other, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, and one day that suspicion will lead to altercations, arguments, which can, of course, lead to violence. I hope I'm right.
Very
So
true.
if you're suspicious in the area of finance, yeah.
Another one is let's say
We're looking at the point Olajide Oduwole made: lack of trust. Yeah. So
lack of trust covers. Trust covers everything. It could cover finance, infidelity, lies.
well,
so many things.
I think lack of trust.
It depends on where he's coming from.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I think it comes to play more in the area of finance and social interaction.
Exactly.
Social interaction, because if the man says I'm going to location A and you end up discovering that he's
went to
gone to
location
location B, yes, it can breach trust.
Yeah, exactly.
And then altercations, arguments will ensue, and then violence more than likely.
Yeah.
I do agree with that. Morenike Adelosoyobaza says infidelity can lead to violence. Yes, that is very true. That is very, very true. Inability to manage anger. Yes, Morenike Adelosoyo but says inability to manage anger can also lead to violence. While we all look at all of those factors, what are the consequences of violence in a relationship? What are the impacts of violence in a relationship? What are the damaging consequences of violence in a relationship? What can result from violence in a relationship? Yeah?
First of all, I think the first one I'm going to pick out is death.
Death.
Yes.
Death. Very correct. Now, just because Legacy mentioned death as one of the likely consequences of violence, I'm just going to show you this slide. And then we'll talk about the slide. The slide is an example of where things went wrong in the relationship and death became the resultant outcome. That's the slide. Some of you are probably familiar with these photos, but we'll talk about it. Let's just allow the photos to go on for a minute or so, and then we'll talk about it. Now, these photos we're looking at right now, I think the story about this photo concerns a young man and his girlfriend. They both live in India, all right? And I actually spoke to two of their neighbors. I contacted two of their neighbors, and they spoke to me and gave me a lowdown of what the situation was between this young couple. I was told by their neighbors, one of them lived with them for about 4 or 5 years. He said very regularly, very frequently, that this couple were always fighting.
Oh, no.
And it was not just altercations, just verbal altercations, that they were always fighting, hitting one another, throwing things at each other, and then they were driven out of their apartment by the landlord. But the landlord couldn't just contain them, so the landlord had to give them a quick notice. So they left the apartment, but what drove them from the apartment did not leave them.
Oh my God.
Which was the violence.
Exactly.
So I was told that on this fateful day, they moved to another apartment, and then I was also told by one of the people I spoke with that this young man did so much for this lady. This lady, I was told, was into prostitution, and then the young man tried to stop her from prostitution, rented a shop for her, so that she can be busy and idle hands. The devil will find work for idle hands. So he got her a shop, set her up, and did so many things for her. Built a house back home in Nigeria. Was looking after this lady very well. And I understand that the young man was doing very, very well in India as well. So on this fateful day, from what I was told that they had an argument over who was to cook dinner. Who was to cook dinner? That was just the argument. And then the man was saying, why is it? Are you not a woman? Are you not supposed to be cooking for me? And then the lady was saying, things like, am I your slave? Can't you cook yourself? Your mother did not bring you up well. That's why you are not able to cook. And then there was anger, there was, altercations, hot arguments, and the woman drew a knife.
Whoa.
She had always, used weapons on him. One of the neighbors even told me that on one occasion, the man in the middle of the night ran to the neighbor and was knocking on the door of, on the neighbor's door, naked. That he was stark naked. Because in the middle of the night there was a fight and the lady broke a bottle and was going to stab him. So he had to run out of the house and, he went to the neighbors knocking. So the neighbors took him in and, they sorted that out. But on this particular day, they had altercation over who was to cook dinner.
Exactly.
So that altercation degenerated and then resulted into violence. She drew a knife like she's always done before. People actually told me that they believe that she never meant to kill this guy because that guy ended up dying. That she never meant to kill the guy.
But he's dead.
But the guy died anyway. So she drew a knife and then mistakenly, they say, stabbed the guy and then left the guy in the living room because she thought the guy was pretending. The guy was lying there on the floor, and she went into the room. And by the time she returned back to the living room, the guy was nearly gone. And then they had to call the ambulance. Before the ambulance could take him away, he was dead. And that was how the guy died. And then you could see the lady in the hospital by the guy's side. I'm sure at this time she was very remorseful. She was regretting everything she did, but it was rather too late. So when Legbosi said violence in the relationship can result into death, I just thought I should show you that slide. So that's a typical example where violence resulted into death. What other things can come out of violence in the relationship as resultant consequence?
Well, like one of our friends here have just said, she said it could lead to low esteem.
Yeah.
In a relationship, it could lead to divorce.
It could lead to divorce.
Yeah.
Morenike Adelosoyo says it could affect the children. It can lead to loss of self-confidence for the children, self-esteem, depression, psychological problems, panic.
Panic attack.
And I think that aspect of the children is very, very vital. Very, very
really
vital. Very, very vital. Because the children has no contribution whatsoever to the violence.
Exactly.
But then they are going to end up being one of the sufferers.
At least one of them.
Yeah. One of those who will bear the consequence of the violence, domestic violence between the man and the woman. Even though the children have made no contributions to that violence. Exactly. And I think if we remember these as couples, it should be a wake-up call. Oyenike Oladeji says no one should stay in a violent relationship. People must learn to step aside. Yeah, I do believe that because one of the faults of that young man, from the people I spoke with, they said that was not the first time that lady was violent towards him.
It's been going on.
It's been ongoing for a very long time. Yes, I remember they gave me another instance. They said they were at a joint, maybe a beer parlor. They were, they were having a drink or something, and then something very little, developed an argument as a result of that little issue developed as well. And then the lady broke beer bottle right there at the beer parlor. She broke the beer bottles, and then she broke a few beer bottles. And then everybody, like Fela will say, everybody scatter. Everybody, took to their heels. So the tell signs are there. The telltale signs were there. The signs, the flag, the red flag was there. The signs were there that one day, just one day, monkey go market, go come back.
Wow, that story.
That one day, something was just going to get out of hand, and that day eventually came. So, Morenike Obaze, I do agree with you. No one should stay in a violent relationship because someday you may never just be able to curtail the consequence. You may never be able to curtail the consequence. Baby Dolipin Nuga, thank you for joining. She says, nice one from a nice lady as well. Morenike, did they put her in prison? The lady that stabbed the man to death? Of course, yes. She, the police took her away eventually. I saw the video because one of the guys I spoke with sent me a video. So I watched the video of when she was taken away by the police and the video of when she was actually in police custody. So she was taken away by the police eventually, and I do believe that she was going to she's going to spend a lot of time behind bars. Right, let's look at a few more comments. Right, we're talking about the consequence of domestic violence. You did mention earlier that death is one of the consequences. What other consequences can come out of domestic violence?
Like I said, divorce. It could lead to children being separated from their parents if there are any kids. Yeah, and that's one thing.
Can you come forward a bit more? Yeah,
it could lead to the children being separated from their parents, and that's one thing a child would never want to experience.
Well, especially in this part of the world where you stand the risk of losing your child or your children to the welfare system. To the welfare system if they get to know that violence is a regular occurrence in the home. So think about that. Ayoyinka Rosemary, men should stop hitting women because most of the time, women using weapon on men is as a result of self-defense. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you, but at the end of the day, both of them shouldn't do that.
I think the fact that one party is using weapon against the other party is inexcusable.
Exactly.
Whether it's in self-defense or not, because that lady may have been acting in self-defense that day when she drew the knife.
Yeah.
And then by an happenstance of error, she killed him. So I think it's not excusable.
Yeah, it's something she's going to live with for the rest of her life.
I'm defend myself and then I'll draw a weapon. If you get to a point where you know that, listen, I'm going to get to that level where I may end up killing somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
Or drawing a weapon, I think the best thing is to walk away. Don't you think so?
That's the best. Just walk away.
Just walk away.
Because I've experienced or seen where a person will say, look, I don't care what happens today, I'm going to do what I have to do to you today.
Yeah.
And sometimes it ends up you killing the person or hurting the person so badly. And
yeah,
it's a situation which we really don't want to get into.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, I think we probably just want to mention one or two more points and then we'll be getting ready to wrap up the show. But before we do that, I'd like you to see I'd like to see a video. Actually, this is a video of an incident that happened recently that is on social media. We all saw it. Well, people on social media saw the video and people have begun to express their views, their opinion on what they saw in that video. I would like us to look at that video.
Okay.
And then, just comment. Though the incidents we're going to see in that video did not take place in a home environment. It was in a public place.
Wow.
But I've heard people apportioning blame. Oh, he is at fault. Oh, she shouldn't have done that. Oh, no, that serves her right. So let's look at the video. And then we can together just discuss it and see if we will agree on this. All right. Those who are watching and listening right now, I'm just going to throw in that video. Okay. Regina Obalano, infidelity, endurance, anger control, loyalty, and sometimes families do contribute to domestic violence. You are right. So let's throw in this video and then we'll come back. Myself and Legacy and all of you together, we will analyze this video and apportion blame where necessary and learn from it as well. All right.
I won't get a fee. I want motor 2002 more. That is okay. Momu 2002. Iris Association. Molo. Ewo moto. Gaddafi. 2002. Ewa ni baba yi. Ewa ló ń japoro. Iris Association. Ó yẹ ń drive tẹ̀lé lọ ni. Ó ti fẹ́ park ń bẹ̀ yẹn. Bokulaja. Ọbàjọ́ 2002. Ẹ̀wà ní kò má yẹ wèrè. Ó wá sáré wine up. 2002. No. Ayé Gaddafi ti bàjẹ́. Tẹ́ bá rí bó ṣe rí inú fọ́tò kan lórí ó ti wá dúdú bíi. Ó ti dúdú bíi ẹni tí ń wẹ̀. Wèrè sáré wọ kọ́nà lọ ni. Ibẹ̀ yẹn ló páàkì sí. African Iris Association. Ó tiẹ̀ máa ń wá àdúgbò wa. Gaddafi olóṣì. No. Hello. I need to collect that. Where is he?
Oh, can you tell him I have to put money in the car now? Ah! Ó ti park síwájú mi máa rí nísìn. Ó ti park síwájú mi máa rí. Ó ti park wá síwájú mi. African Harris Association. Gẹ̀ má já mi gà sọ̀kalẹ̀. Ó ti park wá síwájú mi. Ààrẹ ò yá bí má súnmọ́ ẹ̀ ó fẹ́ nà mí. Police! Police! What did you call me? Who recorded?
Just leave him and you leave her.
Don't call me. Police are friend. Police are there. Police are there. Police are friend. What are you calling me? See the way he's calling me.
Yeah, just leave the phone. Leave it.
You are take the janitor. Police are friend. I'm on board.
I will do that. Leave it.
Máì lọ o, tó bá lọ máa lè ní ẹ́.
Is this yours?
Akúṣẹ́. Yeah, come here, Zoe, come. Out. Come. Ó ṣe sá. Ẹ wo wèrè. Come back here. Back olórí burúkú olóṣè olè. Ah, ó ní mi pé mi máa já ìsọ̀kalẹ̀. Mo dẹ̀ máa trace ẹ̀ máa já ìlọ́ba. Sir, I don't know. He's my ex. That's what he does.
He's your what?
And my ex.
Your ex.
I'm going to report at the police.
He's stood on your glasses,
Thank you very much.
by the way. He's stood on your glasses.
Thank you, love.
And whose watch is that? Yours?
Mine, yeah.
Yeah, because it's broken, so you're going to have to... And there's a ring.
I'm driving to the police now, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zoe inside. Zoe inside. Shopping.
Dropped another earring again. Come, in here. Good girl. There you go. Okay.
Thank you, love.
No problem.
Back over. I won't get a fee. I won't 2002. Momo. Yes, that is okay. Momo, 2002. Harris Association. Follow. Ewo moto. Gaddafi. 2002. Ewa ni bàbá yìí. Ewa ló ń japoro. Harris Association. Ó yẹ ń drive tẹ̀lé lọ ni. Ó ti fẹ́ páàkì ń bẹ̀ yẹn. Bókúlájá. Abájọ 2002. Ẹ wá ní kó má yẹ wèrè. Ó wá sáré wine up. 2002. No. Ayé Gaddafi ti bàjẹ́. Tẹ́ bá rí bó ṣe rí inú fọ́tò kan lórí ó ti wá dúdú bíi. Ó ti dúdú bíi ẹni tí ń wẹ̀. Wèrè sáré wọ kọ́nà lọ ni. Ibẹ̀ yẹn ló páàkì sí. African Harris Association. Ó tiẹ̀ máa ń wá àdúgbò wa. Gaddafi olóṣì. No. Hello. I need to collect that. Where is he?
He's in there.
Oh, can you tell him I have to put money in the car now? Ah! Ó ti park síwájú mi máa rí nísìn. Ó ti park síwájú mi máa rí. Ó ti park wá síwájú mi. African Harris Association. Gẹ̀ má já mi gà sọ̀kalẹ̀. Ó ti park wá síwájú mi. Ààrẹ ò yá bí má súnmọ́ ẹ̀ ó fẹ́ nà mí. Police! What did you call me? Who recorded?
Just leave him and you leave her.
Don't call me. Police are friend. Police are there. Police are friend. What are you calling me? See the way he's calling me.
Yeah, just leave the phone. Leave it.
You are take the janitor. Police are friend. I'm on board.
I will do that. Leave it.
Máì lọ o. Tó bá lọ máa lè ní ẹ́.
Is this yours?
Akúṣẹ́. Yeah, come here, Zoe. Zoe, come. Out.
You get your guard. Come.
Come. What's that? Ẹ wo wèrè. Come back here. Back olórí burúkú olóṣè olè. Ó ní pé mi máa já ìsọ̀kalẹ̀. Mo dẹ̀ máa trace ẹ̀ máa já ìlọ́ba. I don't know. He's my ex. That's what he does.
He's your what?
And my ex.
Your animal.
I'm going to report at the police.
He's stood on your
Thank you very much.
Stood on your glasses.
Thank you, love.
And he's what? Is that yours?
Mine, yeah.
Yeah, because it's broken, so you're going to have to... And there's a ring.
I'm driving to the police now, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zoe inside. Zoe inside. Shopping.
You've dropped another earring again. Come, in here. Good girl. There you go. Okay.
Thank you, love.
No problem.
Back over. I won't get happy. I won't motor.
All right. Legacy.
I hear you.
My brother, you've seen that video.
I saw it.
Where do we begin from? Where? Listen, I know we're talking about domestic violence, yeah? Maybe that's where we should start from, looking at this video. Is there any trace of violence in that video? Bearing in mind that the two adults in that video, the two participants there, are ex-couples. They're no longer together, yeah?
Yeah.
So they met in a public place, or one cited the other
And walked up to the person.
So what? Let me ask you. Just tell me, what did you see in that video? Don't let me put words in your mouth.
Okay.
What did you see in that video?
What I saw there was a lady, a lady seeing her ex walking up to him or making fun of him. No, she triggered this. Whatever happened there, she triggered it.
She triggered it.
She triggered it.
How did she trigger?
And she had left him alone, walked away, or drove past him. I don't think this problem would have happened.
But then the argument is that she was doing a live show.
Yeah.
She was on Facebook Live.
Yeah.
You know, and our camera was on.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that she saw him and then turned on the camera. The camera was already on. Cam was rolling.
Yeah, the cam was rolling. Yes, I agree with that. But the thing is, she spotted him and brought him into the matter.
Right.
Yeah. If she had ignored him, it would have helped. But she saw him and wanted everyone to see. Okay, look at my ex, you know, and so on like that.
Right.
So she was going about her business. I don't think he would have walked up to her, but she purposely mentioned him and said, "Okay, look at the some names which she called in Yoruba, which I don't understand, you know."
Yeah.
And yeah, he didn't like it. And
So
I'm not making excuses for him for whatever he has done. But what I'm trying to say is that if she had ignored him, this wouldn't have happened. You know, they are both elderly people, and I know there are some differences which they've had from the past.
Right.
And she brought it up there, and it just went out of hand there. I really don't have much to say there, but I think the most important thing is that if she had allowed him walk away or just let him be, he wouldn't have walked up to her because she was doing a live show, like you said. And well, it's a very sensitive and a tricky one there.
Right.
You cannot put blames on any of them. He did wrong by attacking her when he noticed the insult or whatever she did.
Morenike Adelosoye says she moved on and went into the shop to go about her business, and he came for her.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Did you see that in the video?
I agree. Well, the video is not too clear from what I've seen here, but the thing is that if he walked up to her to to cause more problems, it's as a result of what she did in the first instance, you know. Like I said, I'm not making any excuses for him, but if she had, allowed it go, it wouldn't have happened. And he also did something.
Morenike further says he could have just told her to stop recording and not hit her.
Well, if you look at the video very well, I believe he must have told her, because he must have told her. And judging from what I've seen, she talks a lot and she insults him, or she must have insulted him.
How do you know she talks a lot?
But the thing is, you can see from there.
Oh, okay.
You can see from there. I'm not trying to say she's a bad lady, but all I'm trying to say is that, look, there's a bad blood between two of them. So it's like
there's obviously bad blood between two
every
of them.
time they see each other, something comes up.
It's like day and darkness that don't meet.
Something is not, there's an unfinished business. So
an unfinished business.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. That's a matter
for them.
For another day. That would be a subject of discussion for another day.
Exactly.
It's a good topic for a show.
Exactly.
Unfinished business. Anyway, so don't let us digress from that.
Exactly.
I did not see in that video where he hit her.
Well, like I said, the video wasn't too clear. I didn't see a lot of things. It's just what people are saying. I'm just putting forward. Yeah.
I couldn't see from that video where he hit her.
Yeah.
Yes. What I saw in that video, if I'm right, and everyone is entitled to their opinion on this one, as always. Now, what I saw in that video was she was on a live show, right? And then I think she was already packed.
Exactly.
And she was looking for whatever she was looking for, and then she spotted him. And maybe because there was that unfinished business. There was that curiosity, and maybe because there was bad blood, there was that desire to ridicule him a little bit, to say to her viewers, because it was a live show, I believe, to say to her viewers, "Oh, come and look at him, come and look at him," which was what she said anyway. So look at him, and then she mentioned his name, and
focus the camera on him.
And no, she didn't actually focus the camera on him immediately. She said, "Oh, I must get out of the car. I must get out of the car. I must get out of the car and go and check where he is and all that." So she came out of the car, and then she looked around and she was trying to find him. And she went into one shop and came out of the shop, and then she still kept talking. And when she came out of the shop, she saw him parking not too far away from her, and she said, "Oh, he's parked in front of me. He's parked right in front of my car." All right. And then she still had the camera. Cam was still rolling, and he's seeing him from afar because, again, bad blood that was between both of them, and a lot of water has gone under the bridge. Anyway, so we will not talk about all that today. So he saw him from afar, and he was like, "This person who is supposed to be my arch enemy, why is she videoing me? Why is she video recording me?" And then he said, "You are recording me, you are recording me, you are video recording me." And then she, I think, responded by saying, "What will you do? What will you do? What will you do?" And then he came at her, and at that point I did not see where he hit her, because what we saw evidently was he
tried to get the camera.
And then we could see his hand coming on the camera. And probably the camera fell off.
And the next thing I heard, police.
And the next thing was police. Now, I think it's easy for people to conclude that there was some kind of contact, that he must have hit her and all that. That was why she was calling the police, that he must have hit her. But we do not have any proof of that.
Yeah, exactly.
At least from that video, there's no proof of that. But having said that, was he right to have launched at her, even though she was recording him?
Well, I wouldn't say he's right to launch at her, and I would not say I wouldn't say the other one too. But the thing is, let's put ourselves in his own shoes.
Let's put ourselves in that man's shoes.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
You have someone you're not really good with, And
someone who is your ex,
okay, your ex. Let's
and
put-
you are not getting along with each
very
other.
well, yeah.
There's been a lot of spiting and name calling,
exactly.
abuses, insults, you know. So,
And you find this person now recording you.
yeah.
You just wouldn't find it funny. You wouldn't like it. I've been in a situation, I really don't know this person. I was just driving somewhere in London there, and I saw a certain guy videoing me. You wouldn't be surprised at my reaction. I noticed him, and I just drove quickly, stopped in front of him, right in the middle of the road at the roundabout, in the middle. So we were like blocking a lot of people. So I came out of the car, jumped through his own side of the mirror, and stopped him and said, "Look, give me that camera. Get my pictures off or get my videos off." Why would you do that? He said he wasn't doing anything. I said, "Okay, let's see." He now opened it up, and I saw my pictures. I said, "Please delete it off." He said he wouldn't, and he almost turned to a fight there. I said, "Okay, instead of me to fight with you, I'm just going to call the police to get this sorted out." And that was when he got scared and deleted them. So by the time he left us, or he deleted them, we've caused a lot of traffic behind us and in front of us. So it was like a jam lock. And yeah, most people wouldn't like it. I wouldn't like it. So yeah, there are better ways of doing it. Yeah, I agree. I wasn't in my right mood that day, and certain things push you to a limit.
Yeah.
But that's no excuse for what he's done. You know, I tend to understand from his own side he wouldn't like that because of his feelings. The bad blood between two of them. But there would have been a better way, and she too would have avoided him, not trigger him, like I said.
So he had the option not to
go forward,
not to go for her.
Yeah.
To have just ignored her.
And she also had the option of not videoing him or making him.
So the fault lays at the feet of both of them.
At the feet of both of them. But
Okay.
somebody triggered it first of all.
Who triggered it?
The lady.
The lady triggered it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So does that make it justifiable that the guy went for her?
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't justify
But then
his
looking at it, the
reaction.
guy was trying to stop her from videotaping him.
Yeah, I agree. He was trying to stop her, and things got out of hand.
Right. Morenike Adelosoye or Baze did, she says they are both at fault. She did say earlier that you have a right to videotape or record in a public place.
Yeah.
I did a bit of research, and I'm just going to read this out to all of us. He says the general rule is that people in public places must assume they might be photographed or recorded, particularly if they are officials carrying out their public duties. So if they are police or council staffs and all that. Therefore, you may photograph, film, and record what you can easily see or hear in public places, even if the recorded people have not specifically consented to such, provided you do not harass, trespass, or otherwise intrude. Those are the conditions. You are free to record, take photographs in the public place or record videos, provided you are not intruding and it is not for the purpose of harassing someone. So if you are recording them and they see it as harassment, they have a right to stop you from recording them. If you are recording them and you are intruding their private space, they have a right to stop you from recording them.
Yes, that's simple.
And they have a right to demand that you delete whatever you have recorded or whatever photos you have taken of them. That's the law. Those who are watching right now and those who are listening by radio, you can go and research that yourself.
I think somebody also said something there.
Yeah.
If you scroll down a bit.
Right.
Wait. Go up. Sorry. Yes, that's it. There. A lady, Oyenike. I hope I pronounce. Forgive me if I don't pronounce the name properly.
Yeah.
I noticed when you said she was trying to humiliate a man. Yeah, that was what she did.
Well, I mean,
and he didn't like it.
Yeah, if the guy perceive it as direct humiliation,
Exactly.
he has a right.
Exactly.
Because that was trespassing.
Exactly.
That was trying to ridicule him, trying to insult him. He has a right to demand that you stop humiliating him or recording him. Right. So, I mean, looking at it, the only thing I didn't see in that video is him hitting
Hitting
her.
the lady, yeah.
And I know it's all over social media and all that. Oh, he hit her. But we couldn't see that evidence in that video.
Nah.
Right. Oyenike Oladeji rightly said that she doesn't see these as domestic violence, but rather a street fight. I'm looking for where that is because I saw it earlier. Okay, here. She says, uncivilized behavior, provocation, street fight.
Anger.
So she doesn't see it as domestic violence, but people all over social media platforms are regarding these as domestic violence because they were once coupled.
Yeah.
So that's the link. They were once coupled, but she's very correct. Oyenike Ige is very correct. They were just on the street having a fight, having altercations that degenerated and resulted into maybe fisticuffs. We don't know. Maybe one person hits the other. We cannot say. By the evidence we have, the video evidence, we cannot say if there was a case of one person hitting the other. But we know that one person came as the other one
to get the
and
camera.
tried to get the camera off them. Anyway, whatever the case is, I think the point we're trying to make on the show today is violence in any shape or form should be condemned.
Exactly.
Whether in the public place or at home.
At home, yeah.
So domestic violence, public violence should be condemned in all shape or form, in all ramifications. It's been the more you look again on Voice Africa Radio, the more you look, the more you see. The more you look, the more you understand, the more enlightened you are, especially if you are looking with your unbiased binoculars. Yes. If you're looking with your unbiased magnifying glass, because sometimes you can be biased. You're looking at a situation with an already made up mind, but you just need to be open-minded and look at issues and look at the merits in such issues. I would like to thank you so very much for joining us. I'm going to read this comment before we sign off or before we sign out on the show today. Mommy D Anifowoshe, the woman desperately went for the man because the man didn't have any knowledge that the woman was around until he heard her asking, so you do come to our area. Until he heard her asking, so you do come to our area. Anyway, well done, sir. Thank you so very much once again, every one of you who have joined us on this show today on The More You Look. Thank you so very much. We appreciate your contribution. We appreciate your impact. We appreciate the love. When next we come online on The More You Look, please do join us again. And whenever we come on air as Voice Africa Radio, whatever show it is, please, we'll appreciate your support and your contribution as much as we've enjoyed it today, and kindly share. Thank you so very much. And for those who will watch by the time we come off air, thank you so very much as well. Let the comments continue. Thanks for all the love. God bless you. Mwah, 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 mwah. Thank you for all the love. Let the sharing continue. Continue to share, so that as many people as possible will, enjoy the benefit of the knowledge we're trying to pass across through this show today. Domestic violence is a no-no. Let us shun it. Let us, not just shun it. Let us do whatever it takes to nip it in the bud. Any situation that can degenerate into domestic violence, let us nip it in the bud. If it is unforgiveness, let us learn to forgive. Let us learn to resolve our issues early enough before they degenerate. Let us not be in the habit of humiliating others or taking other people for granted. Thank you so very much. I'll see you when next we come online. I'm going to leave you with this very lovely music as I sign off on the show today. Legacy, do you have any parting comment or a statement you want to make before we sign out?
Well, thank you all for sharing with us, and I enjoyed, seeing your messages and your outputs. Thank you so much. My name is Legacy. Have a nice day. Bye.
All right, from me, Justified, your son, your friend, your brother, your dad, your whatever. Thank you so very much, and God bless you real good. Olamide, come on, and let's hear what you're going to do. Do what you know to do best. Olamide, hello.
I know they get, I know they post it. My baby give me biscuit, I want to sugar. The things you do me, but Joe Barrow go share we. Borun Barrow go share so. Melo la fẹ́ wí. Melo la fẹ́ sọ. Àní melo la fẹ́ wí. Melo la fẹ́ sọ. Èyí fújì owó, èyí mẹ́nukú. Àpọ́nbẹ́pọ̀ rẹ̀ mi àkànkẹ́ ìdílé yẹn gbà mí. Nígbà kò sówó, nígbà kò sọ́lá. Nígbà kò sọ̀rọ̀ táyé rò mí pin. You stood by me. I know I made some mistakes, but I don't really regret. Now I know go forget to cherish waiting I get. The very first day we met, I told you how I felt. I lie, yeah, they melt. My baby, you're the best. I know they dengue. I know they post it. My baby give me biscuit, I want to shoot.